NBC News business and data correspondent Brian Cheung joins me now with more on today's market sell-off. Brian, I'm sure many of us are looking at our 401ks wondering, when is this going to end? What was it today that drove the sharp market drop, and should we expect a further market decline in the coming days?
Yeah, Ryan, as we've been talking about with the market volatility, until there's more certainty for investors, until they get a better idea of exactly what the next few weeks and months are going to look like on the tariff front, then we won't get more, or less volatility in this market. But now, compile on top of the tariff policy, the concern that the independent steward of the monetary policy here in the United States, which is the head of the Federal Reserve, might be under fire from the president. You can see markets really rattled today after the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones closed the day just a few minutes ago, down about 2.5%. I want to point out that's off the lows of the day. On the Dow Jones, we were down as much as 3.4% in the middle of the afternoon before there was a little bit of a bid into the closing bell. But a lot of this is in response to that Truth Social post from the president early this morning, where, as you mentioned, he described Mr. Powell, his own pick during his first administration, as Mr. Too Late, also describing him as a loser, suggesting that he wanted the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates, as the president is also ratcheting up this tariff war on not just China, but other countries around the world, again, trying to get onto the phone to try to broker deals individually with or even more than 70 countries. So, again, the uncertainty is still out there. Investors clearly don't like it, and neither do people with 401ks that are watching the red across the screen, Ryan.
And let's get into this, what Donald Trump wants the chairman to do. He's asking him to cut interest rates. I mean, what effect could lower rates have on the economy and markets, especially when there's still a serious worry about inflation?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, this is certainly a situation where the Federal Reserve had actually already been in the process of cutting interest rates last year in response to positive progress on inflation. But yeah, you do have this worry that this could really put the Federal Reserve in a difficult bind, because as the president is asking them to lower interest rates, there's also this concern that the tariff policy that's been put in place by the White House would potentially exacerbate inflation. If you're lowering interest rates into an environment where inflation goes up, you can even make inflation go up even higher as a result of that easier monetary policy. But without getting into the Econ 101, all you need to know is that this pressure that the president has placed on Jerome Powell, it's nothing new. We saw this in 2018 and 2019 as well, when the president at the time during his first administration was ratcheting up his trade war with China. In that time, he was also jawboning the Fed. 2018, he described the Federal Reserve chairman as having no touch. He can't putt. He compared him to a golfer. In 2019, he described the Fed chair as a stubborn child. So the Fed chair is used to this type of rhetoric here. I think the question is, does he get tilted into lowering interest rates more quickly than he would have otherwise done so? That did happen in 2019. You wonder if that happens again this time as well.
All right, Brian Cheung, thank you for that update. We appreciate you leading us off.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.